Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Corey, better known as the Seaman, and I want to welcome you to another Spooktober edition of the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down. That's right, it's October, which means there are 31 days for the Seaman to watch as many, but technically at least 32 this year because Venom, Let There Be Carnage, and Lego Star Wars Terrifying Tales dropped on the 1st, but 31 days to watch at least the 32 movies that we've listed here. I'll probably watch more. Of all the things that I can get my hands on this year in the spooky, scary, horror, Halloween realm. And after getting caught up this past Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday, kicked my butt at work, so I fell a little behind. So we're playing a little catch up once again. I do this quite often, but I promise you, we will watch all these movies and review all of them before the month is out. And this is a request from a good buddy of mine, Tristan. I can't believe that I'm about to review this movie. Of all the Rob Zombie films you could have picked, I did not see this one coming. And because I didn't see it coming, I was like, you know what? I'll watch it, even if it's not my favorite. So let's not waste any more time, man. Why don't you pull up a chair? Take a seat. We're getting ready to dive in spoiler-free into Rob Zombie's 31, and Tristan, I'm just talking to you, but of all the movies, you couldn't have requested House of a Thousand Corpses or Devil's Rejects, my two favorite Rob Zombie movies. We had to go with 31, which, you know, as a Rob Zombie fan in the world of film, 31 does all the things that Zombie's really good at doing. Unfortunately, this time around, I didn't quite think his script hit as hard as it should, and his character development is fairly weak across the board here. I mean, we have a pretty eclectic cast with plenty of faces that we're familiar with, specifically Mr. Zombie's wife, Sherry Moon Zombie, here in this movie, and, you know, for the most part, they all do a fine job, but they're all very shallow as characters. If you are unfamiliar with 31, we follow, a ragtag, real beat-up looking group of carnival workers. And as they're traveling to wherever the next destination is, they get kidnapped and pulled into this game that is run by a bunch of very high-up wealthy people, or at least people who are trying to look like aristocrats from, like, the olden days of London, man. They got all the white makeup on and the crazy wigs, but they have put together a game where they throw 5 people into, this I guess, like a house. It's not like a maze, but whatever it is, man, they throw them into this place where they have them chased down by different killers. We get a Nazi midget, which is there's so many things to say, and yet none want to come to my mind when you're talking about a Nazi little person. But you got him, you got a pair of twins with giant chainsaws, and then you got Richard Brake. And Richard Brake, honestly, is the only saving grace of this movie. It might be a career performance from Brake. He is absolutely phenomenal. And when you throw 31 on, you get out real quick and very strong, because Brake basically has an opening monologue where pretty much the camera just sits right here on his face, and then eventually cut, and it looks like he's talking directly to us, the audience, but he is talking to his next victim. Eventually you cut away and kind of get into it. But that whole open, money in the bank, man. Every time Brake steps on screen in this one, you're looking at really, really good stuff, because his performance is absolutely incredible. Like I said, the rest of the cast does a fine job, but no character really has any depth to it, and because of that, and the fact that we don't get to spend too much time with our carnival workers, you don't really get attached to any of them, and thus don't really care what happens to really any of them. Maybe Sherry Moon Zombie, simply because she's a familiar face and someone that's easy to gravitate towards, and she's always a ton of fun on screen. I mean, as poorly as these characters are developed in this movie, Moon definitely does shine like she normally does in her husband's films, because she just brings a lot of wild energy. But it is Brake for me that's the standout here as Doomhead. He is a terrifying character, and a character I would have loved to have spent more time with. Now, would that have helped the movie? I don't know, because it might have taken away from some of the allure of what Brake does, because you get him so sparingly up at the top and up the back end of the movie. But like I said, this is one that does all the things that Rob Zombie's really good at. He gives you that grimy, dirty kind of horror where you're in for tons of blood and gore, really insane deaths. I mean, like, mild spoilers, but like one of the chainsaw dudes like falls onto the chainsaw, and then it takes about 2.5 minutes to cut all the way through his body as people. You're not pulling the chainsaw; you're just pushing him through. There's some grisly stuff, and if you are a fan of the way that Zombie shoots a movie or of that type of gore horror, 31's going to give you all those things. And as per usual, I do kind of like the general style that Zombie has. It's very, very strong. It's very, very distinct. And while this might not be his strongest visual film, it certainly does the things that you would expect Zombie to do. And really, it honestly just comes down to the script with this one. I mean, you're talking about a Saw escape room type thing, even like a little bit of Running Man in there, where you have like people who are watching people be chased and hunted. And we've seen plenty of these types of movies before, and unfortunately, Zombie doesn't really bring anything new to that part of the genre. And like I said, when you have characters that are as thin as these characters are, I'm not invested in anybody, so I'm just kind of going along for the ride. And of the Zombie films, this one is not very scary. Like, I've never kind of felt like, ooh, no, or I don't even think I've ever jumped during 31. So while effectively, from a style standpoint, I think Zombie does the things that you would expect him to do. He has an unbelievable performance from Richard Brake, but kind of wastes the rest of his cast. I mean, Malcolm McDowell is in this movie, and while Malcolm McDowell is not always the best thing in everything that he does, he certainly can bring a weight and a real rock-solid performance where if you could have given me some backstory on these guys or the Carnies, like, you just give me a little bit more, and McDowell could have really done something interesting here. I mean, just one of the best things I feel I like in this is some of the names, right? Like, he's Father Murder, Brake is Doomhead, you've got, like, Sister Dragon and Sickhead, who is our midget man. And you have all of these, just the characters that could be really, really interesting, but only seeing them appear on screen leaves them all fairly thin. And like I said, outside of Brake, no one really stands out that much. And if you're not gonna get me invested in story for your characters, you got to make me get invested in somebody from a performance standpoint. And like I said, Sherry Moon Zombie certainly could have been that character, but again, there just wasn't much to gravitate towards. And Richard Brake is the best thing in the movie, and he's not really the person that you should be rooting for. But in this realm, I think we've seen far better. And even from Zombie himself inside of his own films, I think we've seen far better. So, look, it's always nice to throw on a Rob Zombie movie, and 31 being in and around Halloween for a setting certainly makes it very appropriate for this list, which is why I watched it. But nevertheless, this is one of the more disappointing films that have come out of Zombie's catalog. So that's it for me, man. Let's get the old C-Maniacs up and let's give 31 a score. Stylistically, music-wise, even score-wise, which I didn't really touch on at all, you get solid stuff from Zombie. The things that you would expect. Is it his best score? Is it his best, visual styled film? No, but they're all in that realm where if you like Rob Zombie movies, this is at least worth a watch. Unfortunately, like I said, I think the story and the characters are fairly thin. And in the world of, where you have people being hunted and hunted for entertainment, I think we've seen far better and movies that are able to pull on more. And that's the other thing. Like, if you have thin characters, give me some depth to the story. Be pulling on stuff or talking about stuff. And none of that really exists here. You do, however, get a phenomenal performance from Richard Brake, maybe the best of his career, and that certainly makes this movie even more worth watching. So when you're looking at score for the C-Man, I gotta go 2 out of 5 C-Maniacs. Not a great one, but like I said, certainly fits the realm of horror that we want to be in. If you're a Zombie fan, there's certainly things in here that you can take away from, but the big thing for me with this that I think makes this a worthy entry and a movie that's worth taking a look at is what Richard Brake does as Doomhead, because he's absolutely spellbinding. But there you go, man. Those are all the Seaman's non-spoiler thoughts on his Spooktober. This is number 8. So this is the Thursday, October 7th film, 8th in our run thus far. I'm going 2 out of 5 Sea-Maniacs. Now I want to know what you're thinking, man. Are you a Rob Zombie fan? Where does 31 fall in the zombie catalog? Maybe next Spooktober we'll dive into some of his stronger films and ones that I certainly enjoy a bit more, like A House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. But like I said, for you, where does 31 fall? And if it does fall below some of those movies, what are the things that kind of holds it back from being another gem from Rob Zombie? And if you dig the movie, I mean, what is it that draws you to this one? Is it the score and the music that Zombie brings in? Is it the visuals that he can give you from behind the camera? Are you a fan of the types of blood and gore that you're going to get in that kind of dirty horror realm that Zombie lives in? And if you haven't seen 31, did the old Seaman Spooktober list make you want to throw it on? Did talking about it make you want to throw it on? Maybe you're a big Richard Brake fan. Anything you got, though, on 31, good, bad, indifferent, goes down below in the comment section. Look forward to talking to y'all down there. As always, if you enjoyed this video, please give me a thumbs up. And if you're new, you want to come hang out with Seaman all Spooktober long, or just anytime I'm talking movies, TV, trailer, reactions, you like what I do, you want to show a little love, support, super easy, man. Just come join Sea-Maniac Nation, which you can do by jumping over there, hitting that subscribe button, hit that little bell if you want those alerts. And until next time, for the Seaman's Cinema Sit Down, I've been the Seaman. I'm signing off. Peace. Oh, hey, what's going on? You must be sticking around because you're looking for more content featuring this guy. Well, guess what? You're in the right place. You can check out more videos right here and right here. And if you have and you want to come join that Sea-Maniac Nation, you can hit that subscribe right over there.